And I think that's the transversal value of our industry, that you can learn so many things about yourself as well as about others, and that you can apply that almost anywhere in your life, whether it's in your personal life or then later on in your career, and if you should decide to switch into a different sort of area of hospitality. So it's just a matter of which path would you like to follow.
Welcome to The Turnout. This week, I get to introduce you to Julia Krebs. Julia is a senior lecturer at Roches International School of in one of my favorite destinations, Marbella, Spain. I got to meet Julia in person, and we spent about an hour or two in a beautiful garden talking about travel and hospitality and the future of hospitality. I thought this conversation was so great that I invited her into the Turnout to talk about the challenges of teaching a young generation what hospitality is all about, but also what the potential is of a student coming out of a hospitality school and what roles they assume and what challenges they may face themselves. So with that, I can't wait for you to discover Julia and her challenges, opportunities, and her story. Julia Krebs, welcome to The Turndown. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining me today. You're joining us from Marbella, Spain, one of the most beautiful locations for a school. Is that fair? What's the temperature outside?
25 degrees today, so a bit hotter than usual.
Stop. Don't continue that statement. Julia, I want to start this podcast with our typical question, which is, what is keeping you up at night these days? And, feel free to go anywhere you'd like.
Okay. Well, physically speaking, it's my 3-year-old daughter that keeps me up at night. We're going a bit through a nightmare phase, but that's fine. All good. But apart from that, I think sometimes I keep going over things and thinking about a certain stage of the industry that we're in right now, where you hear sometimes quite a lot. Maybe it's just me that feels a bit overloaded with that sort of statements that the industry is still lacking staff. We have staff shortage. We don't have enough talent. We are not able to deliver the service that we want to, because sometimes we need to shut down certain outlets because we don't have enough staff to operate them, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm a bit worried about that sort of negative image, let's say, that we're getting to an extent, which might not be justified for all hotels and all destinations. But I feel that we're still hearing a lot about that in end of 23, beginning of 2024. So, yeah.
Okay. And I think you probably have a very deep appreciation around that, because your background is in hospitality as well. You started in working in hotels before you became an educator. What's the right word? Is it teacher or is it no?
Yeah, teacher, educator,
okay,
lecturer. So that's all good.
So if we rewind quickly the clock, you started working in hotels, I assume, at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Walk us a little bit through your career.
Yeah, I started when I was 16. When I just finished, was kind of German high school, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, maybe I'm interested in working in hotels. And my mother was like, sure, you can go and test it out and see if you like it. And then you define if it's your passion or something that you want to do for the rest of your working life, at least for your career. So I went into the Hilton in my city, and I was working in housekeeping. And then after a while, I switched to front office, and then I decided to stay there because I was more on the guest relation front office part, still appreciating the housekeeping side of things. And then I was working a little bit as well in Belgium, and then I took a turn to Switzerland because I was like, okay, that still seems to be my thing. I'm enjoying myself and I see a path here. So I said, okay, let's get a degree. Done that. From Switzerland, then I moved on. And I was very lucky and fortunate to be recruited directly from campus and to Southeast Asia, which was always one of my dreams. I wanted to go to Thailand and all these beautiful places. And not just as a tourist, I really wanted to go and live there and experience it, because I was so intrigued with the Asian culture. And I was like, well, if you really want to get to know it, you have to go and live there. So that's what I did for the majority of my career. I was lucky enough to be with the same company, which is, that time it was Orient Express. Now it's rebranded to Belmont, as we know it, as part of LVMH. And they just moved me around to different destinations. Was very fortunate. And I then grew up from there into the different positions, guest relations, front office, rooms division, etc. And then, as it always turns out, you meet someone special in your life and you want to settle down. And then the turn came to come to Marbella, because that's where my husband is from. And then after being here in Marbella for a little while, the Roche was looking for lecturers to teach, obviously, from their experience in the industry. And that's how I came 5 years ago, a little bit more than 5 years ago, to the Roche Marbella.
That's fantastic. So you're still living your passion by, I guess, educating young students around what hospitality should be around. You're focusing on rooms division, I guess,
yes,
from
yes.
a class perspective. Okay, excellent.
Yes. Depending a bit on the semester, obviously there's different areas I need to cover, whether it's a bit some practicals, to do housekeeping demonstrations and front office, etc. And then as the rooms division path, as we call it, grows, it goes into sometimes, different subjects that we share here with the other teachers, into rooms division management, and then revenue management, or project management, etc. The field is very, very broad. And that's the beauty of the faculty here, because everyone has their own background, their own experience, and all these unique examples that make this teaching experience for our students very, very valuable. So we're not really teachers in the academic sense. I like to sometimes say, and I don't want to make that sound bad, because we just don't have the academia career behind. We have the pure experience and how to obviously tackle certain problems and how to solve business-related issues. So that's what makes teaching very special here, and also as a student, the experience and the knowledge that the students are getting in the classroom.
Fantastic. So let's go back to your original sort of statement. What's keeping you up at night, right? So, and I want to double click and understand sort of where you're coming from and how you're determining this. One of your statement was, that hotels, or the hotel companies you talk to, are still, reporting that they're understaffed. They're not finding enough talent in order to fill all the vacant positions. And as a result, if I understood you correctly, service is impacted, the quality of the service is impacted, and it leads to often a difficult decision as a hotel owner operator to say, I need to shut down an outlet, or I need to shut down a restaurant, or I have less revenue opportunity than I used to have because I don't have enough staff. Is that what, did I paraphrase that? Okay.
True. Yes. I think it's already a lot better than it obviously used to be a little time ago, unfortunately. But I still think that it's still talked about a lot, because maybe hoteliers obviously have found their own ways to cope with that and get around it. But I don't think that in some cases we're living up to the full potential just yet, and the full hospitality delivery and value of what obviously our industry stands for. And obviously that's this providing the service to the guests, tailoring it, customizing it the way they need it, in whichever way, shape or form the hotel decides to do that, because not